Sports Car Vintage Racing Association, or SVRA, opened this year's 2018 racing season with the Sebring Vintage Classic. ROSQUITES has more.
We are here at Sebring International Raceway, home of the Sebring Vintage Classic. Join me as we plunge into the world of sports car racing and find out about this historic race.
The Sebring Vintage Classic is a racing series organized by the Sports Car Vintage Racing Association, or SVRA. Established in 1976 in Sebring, Florida, the Sebring Vintage Classic boasts of rich history and prestigious cars.
Well, it's really a unique track because it's an old Air Force base from the Second World War. It's different than most tracks because it's pretty much flat, and it's got 17 turns, and like I say, it's got a lot of history. The first Grand Prix race in the United States was done here in 1959, and the 12-hour race, which is the third Saturday of March, it's the longest running road race in the U.S.
This racing series serves as the season opener to the dozen of races for the year launched by the SVRA. The SVRA classifies these cars into 12 groups, from small race cars to big bore production sports cars to GTs that raced between 1973 to 2013. The SVRA promotes a car culture that encourages preservation and restoration to cars that are close to their original construction and design.
Well, we prepare for this race like all the others. It's a sport that requires a lot of discipline and a lot of preparation beforehand, so a lot of work's done before we get here. But while we're here and testing, we set the car and try to make sure that the suspension adjustments are correct and the height of the car is right, so we do a lot of tweaking in the car for qualifying. And then hopefully in qualifying we have the lap we want, and then for the race we make sure the car is set up to go as long as possible, as fast as possible.
There's a lot of prep that goes into it. There's a lot of engine work. A lot of things get rehabbed over off-season. Sometimes the engines need to come out. There's always, especially with an older car, this is a 1961 MGA. I have two cross-floor Webbers and an aluminum head, so where I would typically be a Group 1 car, I'm a little bit faster than that car typically is, so they bump me up to Group 3. But the car is really well prepared. My dad takes care of a lot of that, and it's just the kind of the groups, the fun of the group and being part of the team and being able to drive fast. It's a lot of fun.
Interested in some racing swag? The vendors at the Sebring Vintage Classic allow you to purchase memorabilia. The race also brings out fans that are sports car enthusiasts.
I'm somebody that believes you should try everything that you enjoy at least once, and watching racing on TV doesn't do justice to what it's like in real life. The smell of the fuel, the vibration in your chest from the motors going by, it's a totally different experience. It's one that I really enjoy.
It's a great field. We've got about almost 40 cars this year. Ferraris, Porsches, BMWs, and it's fantastic competition. So if you like sports cars and you like to see them going fast and you like to see competitive wheel-to-wheel racing, it's a place to be.
It's a hobby, it's a fun thing to do if you're into the car thing. I mean, again, there's a diverse group, so there's a lot of interesting things out there and a lot of different varied experiences and cars. I mean, there's super fast cars in there that don't drive very fast because the driver's slower, and there's slower cars that go super fast because the driver's great and has a lot of experience. So it's all about the driving, just the fun of it.
So, if vintage cars and racing appeal to you, go and find out when the next SVRA race is in your area. Reporting with the Florida Bureau, I am ROSQUITES, and I am always one with 25.